first off, you have to have the bar at the right height. You gotta have the safety bars at the right height. And you gotta have the bench in the right area. It has to be directly in the middle of the rack and in the middle of the bar. You have to understand the different hand placement sites for the fingers. You have a ring, you have a mesh area around this ring, you have a smooth area, a mesh area in the middle, smooth area, another mesh area with a ring on the other side. Those are in bar markers because that's going to help keep your hands in a consistent placement when you train. So, in my opinion, the bench press outperforms most exercises to push it. I prefer over dumbbells because at a certain point the dumbbells become very cumbersome to load, and this is an easier loading strategy in my opinion. So you have less of this kind of stuff, which if you're lifting 110 pounds, is not great for the shoulder, where this, you can rack out in front, there's no loading strategy. So some people argue that the dumbbell's better, more functional, that you don't need a bench press. I'll argue against that. The range of motion, if you think about it, isn't that hard. It's not like you're going overhead, and it's not like you're doing a dip where your shoulder is all the way extended. So it's, in my opinion, one of the perfect chest pressing exercises. Again, it allows you to load easy. It's better than a push-up in my opinion, because a push-up has a lot of stress on the wrists, and it never feels great on my shoulders. This is a lot less than 225 pounds, which is how much I weigh. So warming up to the bar is 45 pounds instead of 225 pounds pressing myself off the ground. So this is actually a better loading strategy because this is 135 pounds right now. Obviously I'm not pressing 225 if I'm doing a push-up. I don't know what the math is. It's probably less than 225 pounds, but we'll see. So I'm fact checking. So I have to line this bench up. Make sure you know exactly where it is every time you go to the gym. When you back up, don't hit your head on the bar. Move around the bar. Slowly move down. Your feet turn out slightly. You can have loose hips approach to start. Locate where the rings. First, find the rings and then lift your arms over or in front. Now, this is probably a little too low for me. You want it right where the watch is. So, if it's too low, that means that my elbows will bend more when I press it off. I want less bend so I can just push and protract my scapula. So, I'm gonna move it up. I would not recommend doing this with the bar loaded. If you've never done that before, you can hurt your back or your shoulders. So we're gonna move it up one. Alright, so we want it right at where my watch is. Perfect, right there. Okay, find the rings. Make sure the mesh that's in the middle of the bar is right over your nose. It could even be near your forehead. Okay, even at the top of your head. Okay, so think this mesh bar should be right where your hair is, where your forehead is. If it's by your nose, that means when you push it off, you have to really go further out, and you might end up hitting the rack. So that's why it's really important to know where your head is on the bench. Okay, from here, I want to roll the weight to the front of the rack. Once I'm there, I'm gonna push up in front of my chest. Then I will begin to lower. You don't want to push off the back of the rack
because you'll actually have to almost press overhead, go back, and then forward. So I want you to drive forward and up. So it should be a very minimal unracking. So I roll it to the front, and you do this because you want it to be consistent. You don't want to do something different each time. So you want to develop a strategy. So as it wedged up at the front, you might have to replace your head, make sure it's right by your forehead or in line with your hair. That solid mesh should be right in front. I like my pinkies on the rings and my thumbs where the mesh meets the smooth area. Okay, you may have to go a little bit more narrow where the thumbs kind of touch the mesh and the smooth area, and your pinkies are on the inside of the rings. So if you have wider shoulders, probably pinkies on the rings. If you have super wide shoulders, then your pointer fingers might be on the rings. So wide grip is pointer fingers on the rings. Normal grip, pinkies on the rings. And then kind of a narrow grip with your fingers on the smooth area. All right, so I'm going to drive it forward. I'm going to press up and forward. Notice how small that movement was. From here, I'm going to slowly lower down, press up. And I'm going to rack toward the back, because that's going to be the safest way to kind of wedge it and then bring it down, as opposed to finding the front and then getting caught on that, because that's going to be less safe. So you come up, you stand up, shake out those arms in between sets, wait about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, you add more load. So 4 to 6 weeks of 8 reps, and then switch to 10 to 15 reps after that phase. Every 4 to 6 weeks, change your rep schemes. So bigger loads, lower reps, and then go moderate loads, higher reps. I don't like to say low loads, so you should still be striving to do heavy weight for high reps when you're doing that. But some people will say you don't even have to perform periodization of training. Periodization of training is when you change the rep and set schemes from high rep to low rep, from lower weights to higher weights, every 4 to 6 weeks. If you're not doing that, then you're not performing periodization of training. Some will say that is optimal for strength gains. It may not be optimal for hypertrophy gains. So take that into consideration. Alright, so we have 135 plus 40, so 135, 145, 155, 165, 175. I know I can do this 10 times, so that's what we're gonna move. We're gonna start. Remember, place your feet on the bench in your bench pressing. If you're doing heavy loads, especially if you're maxing out, unless you're just a daredevil, and when you bring your feet off the ground like this and do it, you're just asking for trouble. So yes, it's going to increase core activation, but you need your feet to press into the ground to press the weight off to do it safely. Yeah, if you want to do it unsafe, that's your choice.
time, you'll experience very good results long term. So, don't take yourself for granted, but you gotta be patient with the gains. Alright, so we got 175, 185, 195. 195, what's my max? My max is like 365 for one, and then my max 225 is 18. My max now is probably 295, maybe 285. And my max 225 rep is probably 10. So that was when I was 21. So that was 20 years ago. Yeah, you would think I'd be able to do that, but no. I was training. That's all I was doing was training. So these racks, you don't want them to be too high to where you touch them each rep, but you want them high enough to save your life if you're by yourself, like I am right now. Now, I don't just come in here and bench, and I don't just work out without having a plan or strategy anymore. What we got going on? Alright, here we go. Five. Right now I got 5. I could have got 10. If I would have gotten 10, it would have been really tough, and I wouldn't probably go as heavy the following rounds, so I wanted to go heavy, so I cut it short. When the bar speed is working good, and you feel everything's pumping really good, sometimes I'll cut it short in order to put more weight on the bar, because I want to get more bang for my buck, you know what I mean? So we got 225. See, I don't know if I want to over rep 225 today. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. What do you think, chat? What do you think, chat? Ow. What do you think, chat? 225 today for reps, or should I just go for 5? Should I go 225 for max out 10? Or should I be safe and do 225 safely? What do you think? What should I do? Be safe or be edgy? So this is the first time I'm trying the blue Raz Bang energy drink. Not impressed. Alright, here we go. What do you think? 5 or should we go for 10? What do y'all want to do? Alright, looks like 40 votes for do it safely. Thanks, chat. Yeah, if you're not watching on Kick, make sure you're watching. I got 5,000 viewers on Kick right now. Great. Thanks, chat. Sometimes you gotta know when to go. You gotta get up, walk around. You don't feel ready yet. Shake it out. I feel actually nominal right now. So 41. I've never had a shoulder surgery. Knock on some metal. So we'll do 225 for 5 5 to 8. How about that? Who knows? Maybe I just want to go for 3. You do whatever I want. Heavy. It's not going to be as light as the last one, that's for sure. Alright, this is it. Last set. Last set, best. Well, lucky number 7. Cause I'm not an idiot. That's why. Well, why didn't you do it for 10 reps? I thought you said you could do, dude. Don't even stop. Right, I'll say 45. Better cut it out. I'm gonna block it. Yeah, Julian, you tell him. Tell him, Julian. Oh. That's how you do it.